are Ghana's main political parties, the New Patriotic Party, NPP, and the National Democratic Congress, NDC, taking Ghanaians for fools. Both parties have initiated large religious projects, the NPP's National Cathedral and the NDC's Hajj village, raising questions about their true intentions and priorities. These parties have alternated power for decades, often making bold promises while in opposition, only to reverse their positions once they assume office. This has led many Ghanaians to question whether either party truly has the nation's best interests at heart, or if their policies are dictated by political convenience rather than genuine concern for development. One of the biggest examples of this hypocrisy is the controversial National Cathedral project, initiated under the NPP administration, and the recent Hajj village proposal by the NDC government. Both projects, while religious in nature, have ignited nationwide debate regarding economic priorities, transparency, and governance. The National Cathedral was announced as part of Ghana's 60th anniversary celebrations, intended to be an interdenominational Christian place of worship in Accra. The project was planned to include a 5,000-seat auditorium, chapels, a baptistry, a music school, an art gallery, and a Bible museum, incorporating elements of Ghanaian culture in its design by renowned architect Sir David Adjaye. However, the project quickly became one of the most controversial initiatives under the NPP administration. Initially estimated to cost $100 million, the budget has since ballooned to over $400 million, raising serious concerns about financial mismanagement. Many Ghanaians, including civil society groups and opposition parties, condemned the project, arguing that the government should focus on pressing issues such as healthcare, education, and infrastructure rather than spending taxpayer money on a religious structure.
$1 million.
The minister cannot purport on our behalf to make monies available for the construction of the National Cathedral without the approval of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, that will be against the grain of Article 174 of the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. What in God's name are we doing with 100 million cathedral when we cannot afford to feed the hungry amongst us?
Allegations of procurement breaches, missing funds, and mismanagement only fueled public anger, leading to calls for the project to be scrapped. Ultimately, after years of delays and financial losses, the National Cathedral remained unfinished, with millions of dollars wasted on a project that never saw completion. Now that the NDC has assumed power, one would expect them to learn from the mistakes of their predecessors. However, rather than prioritizing urgent national concerns, they have proposed the construction of a Hajj village to facilitate the annual pilgrimage of Ghanaian Muslims to Mecca. This project is eerily reminiscent of the National Cathedral debacle, sparking criticism that the NDC is engaging in the same misplaced priorities that they once condemned.
Where your mama trust you open Hajj village in the sea, Obi an stop you. But overside the 4 years no matter what. Catch it open. Huh? O sebrebe. Maybe I'm at your Hajj village and terminal. Obwa. Mon conscience will first can Messi hospital papa mamo. Mon conscience will first can Messi school papa mamo. Many announce more income for more deserve better.
The government claims that the project will be funded by the Ghana Airports Company Limited, GACL, rather than taxpayer money, but many remain skeptical. Since the GACL is a state-owned entity, its funds ultimately belong to the people of Ghana. If the National Cathedral was considered an unnecessary financial burden on the nation, why should the Hajj village be treated any differently? Both projects, while catering to different religious groups, highlight the failure of successive governments to address more pressing national issues. The NDC's willingness to push forward with the Hajj village, despite public outcry, raises questions about whether the government truly listens to the people. When the NPP was in power, citizens lambasted them for prioritizing the national cathedral over economic recovery and social welfare. Now, the same criticisms are being leveled against the NDC, yet they seem determined to repeat history. Adding to the frustration is the blatant hypocrisy of political commentators and party loyalists who once opposed the national cathedral but now support the Hajj village. Notably, figures like Sammy Gyamfi and Kevin Taylor, who were vocal critics of the national cathedral, are now defending the Hajj village with the same energy they once used to condemn government waste.
Every day, penyini bia owo Ghana, oye nkremoni, oye akwara etua tax MEDC no. The government of the day ne say, or the sa airport no, ye nyina ye citizens ye tax no, home faso and ebesi Hajj village. If anybody in Ghana, etna TV, so tna radio, so tna social media, denigrate the Islamic religion, say Munya citizens, and that nobody has the right to build that Hajj, that person should be bent down.
Sammy Gyamfi, the National Communications Officer of the NDC, previously described the National Cathedral as an extravagant waste of resources. He accused the NPP of misplacing priorities and using religion to justify corruption. Today, however, he is one of the key voices justifying the Hajj village, arguing that it is a necessary project to support Ghanaian Muslims.
NDC abraso no one you say. Enkramufo omofa airport tukwan. Eko Mecca, eko ye Hajj. Ekan kramufo the 5 pillars of Islam. Omosom no. Edi mu akotini here. Into mo ye customers omofa Ghana airport. Pesa atete no. No mu could do airport and then a plane between and then the betu china na ye maame mo ne ye papa mo no mo de da bonten na ntontom timi keke bi mebi yare obi bedu Mecca kura na yare ache ne wanwe ye kura na wawu and NDC abinda under Professor Mills John Mahama and it's okay and the Ghana airport company we your customers like anyone else and then omo nko etu kwan a omo ba ha omo from various parts of Ghana no ma ba beboa no bebre na plane no ni tuo ni ade na ni peka na omo bressa enti private company bi nye den enye Hajj village.
The question remains, if the National Cathedral was a wasteful project, why is the Hajj village any different? Similarly, Kevin Taylor, a known media personality and political commentator, dedicated countless episodes of his online broadcasts to criticizing the NPP for wasting public resources on the National Cathedral.
Which Nana Addo Akufo-Addo spoke of after he was sworn in as the President of the Republic of Ghana. Now, as Ghanaians, we all know that we've never come together in parliament, out of parliament, to say that we need a cathedral and that our monies or our taxes should be put in any cathedral.
Now, he has shifted his narrative, defending the Hajj village by claiming that the project is needed to improve travel arrangements for Muslims. This level of inconsistency only fuels the belief that political loyalty often overrides objectivity and common sense. Ghana is currently grappling with numerous crises that require urgent attention. Healthcare system in crisis. Many hospitals lack basic medical supplies, and healthcare workers continue to demand better conditions. The Agenda 111 hospital project remains unfinished, and countless Ghanaians still travel long distances to access proper medical care. Deteriorating roads and infrastructure. Poor road networks contribute to accidents and loss of lives. Many communities lack proper drainage systems, leading to flooding during the rainy season. Electricity and water supply issues, power outages, and inconsistent water supply continue to plague households and businesses, affecting productivity and quality of life. The youth unemployment rate remains high, with many graduates struggling to find jobs while inflation continues to erode purchasing power. Many schools lack adequate infrastructure, with students still studying under trees or in overcrowded classrooms. With all these challenges, why is the government prioritizing a religious facility that will only be used once a year? Shouldn't funds be channeled into areas that will benefit the entire population rather than a specific religious group? Ghanaians are becoming increasingly frustrated with the cycle of deception played by both political parties. When the NPP was in power, the NDC positioned itself as the voice of reason, rallying against the national cathedral. Now, with the roles reversed, the same NDC is attempting to justify the Hajj village, using the same flawed logic that they previously opposed. This raises a fundamental question. Are the NDC and NPP the same? Time and again, these two parties have demonstrated that they will say anything to win votes, but fail to uphold their principles when in power. Both claim to represent the interests of the people, yet their actions suggest otherwise. Instead of tackling corruption, improving infrastructure, and ensuring social justice, they continue to prioritize projects that serve narrow interests while leaving the majority of Ghanaians to suffer. If the government is serious about national development, here are some urgent areas that need immediate attention. Ghanaians must wake up and demand accountability from both the NDC and NPP. It is clear that both parties prioritize political convenience over genuine national development. The hypocrisy surrounding the National Cathedral and the Hajj village is a clear indication that neither party truly represents the interests of the people. If we continue to allow politicians to manipulate us with empty promises, the cycle of misplaced priorities will never end. It is time for the electorate to hold leaders accountable, demand transparency, and push for policies that genuinely improve lives rather than serve political and religious interests. What do you think? Are the NDC and NPP the same? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to Ghana AI News for more insightful discussions and investigative reports on Ghana's governance issues.